Believe me when I tell you we had actually no intention on going to AEW's All In until only a few days before the actual event, which means we only had a few days to get ready for our flight, which we had to leave at 3 in the morning for. All right, it is currently 3 in the morning. We are on our way to the airport early Friday morning, and we have a jam-packed 2 days in Texas. Our flight is in like 2.5 to 3 hours. So that means our entire first day in Texas for All In festivities is going to be on no sleep. We were packing up until about an hour ago. So, yeah, wish us luck. I don't know how this is going to go. All I know is that we have a lot of things planned that you're going to see in this video. And just know that it's all going to be on no sleep. So by like the 5-minute mark of this video, we'll already probably have been up for 24 straight hours. So let's do it. All in, baby! From the very moment that we arrived in Arlington, we had zero time to spare. So we had to head straight to the Sheraton Hotel. And this is where the Starcast convention type event was being hosted. This is also where I got my very first taste of Texas heat. Don't get me wrong, it gets hot up here too, but like there is something about that extra bit of humidity that hits you when you step outside. Not a fan. Really glad most of this was going to be indoors. If you don't know what Starcast is, you don't know how it works, don't worry, neither did I. So basically it is a WrestleCon different company. It is basically what I got out of it. From what I saw, this was almost exactly what they actually did at the Royal Rumble in the days leading up to it with the paid meet and greets or the paid photo ops, whatever you want to call them. Basically how it was supposed to work is you purchased wristbands which give you access to the event itself. Just gives you the ability to walk around the event, check out tables, because this is like a WrestleCon style event or convention. And so these bracelets would give you access to the area itself. But even if you bought one ahead of time, you still had to wait in line to collect your wristband. You would show that you paid it and you'd be given your wristband for the day. So unfortunately, that means there wasn't really much of an advantage for purchasing these online in advance. Sure, they might have sold out of the higher tier ones, but if you're buying general admission, which it seems like you were able to buy at any point throughout the entire weekend, you didn't really get any advantage. You still had to wait in line with everybody else. There was no sort of express pickup because you paid. It was just one line to collect or buy a bracelet for everybody. The reason that's an issue is because that means to start off the weekend right when we got there, it was just kind of chaos from the moment we walked into the hotel. First, you walk in and there's just not really any clear idea of where you're supposed to go. There's nobody greeting in the front. There's no clear signage that says where you need to start your journey here. Sure, there were some signs that would say the photo ops are in this general direction and there's other things in this general direction, but that doesn't really help you when you first walk in the door and it's just a room full of people and you can't really tell what anybody is doing or where you're supposed to go. And unfortunately, because everybody, when you get there, everybody has to stand in this first line, even if you prepaid, you have to stand in this line to get your wristband. That means there was a starting line that was just endless and just went all the way through the hotel, out the back door, down the entire back property of the hotel, and it kind of meshed with the lines that were already forming for photo op. Now, the photo ops you also purchase in advance. These photo ops are something that you pay for. You're kind of reserving that you are going to get your spot. So it is nice, even though it is pretty pricey. Even on the AEW side, it's pretty pricey. But the benefit is that you are basically guaranteed to get your photo instead of one of those situations where you show up and they're only going to do it with the first, however many people, or they're only going to be there for an hour. And if you get cut off your screwed. You're guaranteed to get your photos. This is the part that didn't make any sense, or at least the first part that didn't make any sense. So again, this first line that is just zigzagging through the building, that is just to get your wristband, it has led us now outside and is kind of combining and merging with these lines that are starting for the first meet and greet / photo op, which is already creating a lot of confusion. And when I say a lot of confusion, at least for the first few hours, it did get cleaned up over time, but because there were so many lines that got to the length where you couldn't tell where the line actually went, the most common topic of conversation in those lines was, hey, what line are we in? Or what, does anybody know what we're in line for? I'm not kidding. The first like 15-20 minutes that we were even back there trying to find a spot in line, and that was what everybody was trying to confirm. They were like, wait, is this the line for Okada? Well, no, I'm in a line for wristbands. Oh wait, is this for Sting? Now, as much as it did kind of suck waiting in line for this bracelet to start off the day, especially with how much of it had you waiting outside in the heat, the cool part was by waiting in this line, you constantly were seeing wrestlers from AEW walking by just kind of casually because they had places to be around the building, whether it be to a panel upstairs or to their photo op outside. They would just kind of walk by and you could just kind of say hi to them, or in Tally's case, fist bump them. It was happening pretty frequently, actually, and I didn't get all of them recorded because sometimes it kind of caught me off guard. But I had one interaction with Okada, actually. He walked by me. It caught me so off guard. And I just said, dude, you are so cool. And he looked at me and just said, thank you. And he kept going. So I met Okada free of charge. Yeah, I panicked. What would you have said with no notice? Now, this long line for the wristbands also led us all the way to the merch room, which we did pick up a little bit of merch. I think Tally got a few t-shirts. I picked up a hat. You knew I was going to get a hat. I don't have what she bought handy right now, and she is sleeping right now. So I'll make sure we show that in the Patreon version of this video where we do a Q&A, and we'll go a little bit more in the behind the scenes of how we ended up at the show in the first place and all that. So that'll all be on the Patreon. I'll have her show her merch and everything that she picked up as well. So now that you got your wristband, you go all the way back outside and you hop in another line, and it's for whatever photo op you paid for. The first one that we had lined up for the day was meeting Toni Storm. And if you're not familiar with this channel, normally I'm wearing a Toni Storm hat. That's the most common one I wear at this point. Yeah, I got her figure and all that. She's my favorite in AEW, and it's by a mile. She's probably the character worker that has got me locked into AEW in the first place. So the fact that we were going to kick this whole weekend off meeting Toni Storm, I was a little disappointed. It was going to be a no sleep, but I was trying to like lock in and like be coherent upon having this opportunity. So all the photo ops actually happened in this small room that was outside of the hotel. It was like they had a little hut outside where you get in there. There was a couple booths, and right when you get in, you notice that they have like a whole printing setup, and I wasn't really sure why that was there at first. And it might sound obvious to you. You think, oh, that's probably where they're going to print the photos. I didn't expect that they would be printing the photos right there on hand. When we did this exact same situation, the same prepaid photo op situation for the Royal Rumble, by default, you just got a digital version and you could pay extra for a physical one. I didn't find out until the moment of that Starcast does the opposite. By default, they give you a printed copy and you can pay extra for a quote JPEG to be delivered to your email, or you can pay for extra copies. Them deciding that the default was going to be printed is going to be important later, so don't forget. But we walked up, I met Toni, and she was just obviously fully in character. She was so nice. She was so kind. I asked her politely if I could put my arm around her, because that just feels like the normal thing to do. And she said, of course, darling, of course. And I wish there was a video of this interaction, because I know I was looking so tired at this point as I was walking up. But the moment I'm like, I've got one arm around Toni, one arm around Tally, and the photo hits, I got the brightest smile on my face. I was just on cloud nine. That was such an insanely cool moment. It was awesome. It was an amazing way to start this weekend. So they take the photo and you step off to the side, and you step just outside this little hut, and they tell you, just wait one moment. We're going to print this out and give it to you right now. So about maybe 60 seconds to 2 minutes tops, they print out the photo and they hand it to you. And if you're not expecting to be handed this photo, you kind of wonder, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm going to be here the rest of the day. I don't have a digital copy by default like I thought I would. And this is the only evidence that I have of this interaction. I don't want this to get ruined. I'm going to hold this the whole day. And of course, they thought of that. You can go into the merch shop and you can buy a little lamination sheet, whatever you want to call it. And so, of course, that's what I did. I put it in this like protective thing so that I could keep it safe forever. But we also learned that you can actually purchase the JPEG version afterwards as well, so that moment of panic kind of went away. I was able to just purchase the digital one, had it emailed over. So I made sure to do that with all of our photo ops for the day, because I'm not going to make sure that makes it home with me. And like, I need the digital one just to be safe. So we ended up buying the digital version for all 3 that we did that day.
Tally's eating yogurt. I just met Tony Storm. I'm on no sleep. I feel like I've been up for like 36 hours, but I met Tony Storm. Woo! So everything is good.
Everything is awesome.
I am having fun, but it doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to sleeping tonight before All In.
I don't know if I believe him yet.
Was that convincing?
Wasn't convincing to me.
I'm gonna keep powering through.
So yeah, I was a little bit tired at this point, and we still had a long day ahead of us. So like, I needed that extra surge of energy. We ended up there was like a Starbucks type place in there that you could buy something. So I got a little caffeine in me, had a little bit of a snack. There wasn't really like dinner food or anything that you could buy at the hotel, but whatever. There was time to kill, so we hung out a little bit. There was some seating outside in the shade, so you can just kind of hang out while you waited for your time. But you could also walk around the actual convention. Now, I will admit, I did not get to see every inch of the convention. There was, I think, at least one room that we never really made our way to, even though we probably did have time. There was a lot of distractions. There's a lot of just things being pulled around. There's wrestlers just kind of walking around. So there was a lot to distract you. When we went upstairs, I did see the Big Boom AJ and Rizzler thing going on. They had a little meet and greet going on. I was not getting in that line. I'm sorry. I saw a lot of you saying that you wanted me to get a picture with them. I just couldn't. I got up there. I already had other lines I needed to wait in. And when I saw how long that line was wrapping up through the upstairs of the hotel, that wasn't going to happen. So I snapped a quick photo just to prove that I saw it, and I saw that I was close to him, but I wasn't waiting. But I did do, and I'm sorry I could not get video evidence of this, so you have no choice but to just believe me. You just have to believe me on this. I wasn't going to waste their time and try to get it on camera, but when we were walking to the actual stairs, we bumped into Anthony Bowens. Some of you may know that I have history with Anthony Bowens, where I went to an episode of Dynamite, and when he went for the scissors for me in the front row, I panicked and I gave paper, and there ended up just roll the clip.
Johnson on the outside, not at all, fans.
But when I bumped into him, I immediately said, "Hey, can I scissor you?" Tally can attest to this. He was startled. That was probably not the way to open the conversation. He was visibly startled turning around when I said that. So that's on me. I kind of panicked, but he said yes, and he reached out and he kind of did like a face with it. I'm not sure, does he normally do like a face when he does it? But we scissored. So just know and trust me, I redeemed myself. I did it properly. And it happened. It's not on camera unless they've got security footage that you're willing to hunt down. Just, you got to take my word for it. Also, when we went upstairs, we ran into Aubrey Edwards. That's someone that we've actually had on the channel before. She was at a table talking about AEW Heels, which is like an all women's wrestling fan club. And she was talking about that. She did remember me, by the way. So that felt kind of cool. She thanked me for like the whole interview and everything. So that was cool. Shout out to whichever one of you said that you also met her and said that you liked the interview that she did with us. So that was really cool of you. Maybe that helped jog her memory before we made it to her. I don't know, but either way, felt pretty cool that she remembered. But of course, she explained to Tally the whole thing with AEW Heels, and that's what they've been pushing all day. Like, she was there for hours and hours.
A lot of women that want to travel to wrestling shows, not kind of traveling alone. What do I do if something goes wrong? It's like, here's all the things, here's some tips and tricks. We record all of those, so if you're a new member today, you get the last 3 years of content.
Yeah, she was explaining they had a QR code so you could like join the club and everything online. You could take a friendship bracelet. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool that they were doing that long. Next up, we had a photo scheduled with the Hurt Syndicate and MJF, or I guess that encompasses him. He's in the Hurt Syndicate as of the recording of this video. But I mentioned MJF specifically because I had a pretty memorable interaction with him. Once again, I do wish these moments could be recorded, but they're pretty strict on not having your phone out or any sort of recording device while doing this, which is understandable because that's what you're buying when you're in that room. So I was really only able to like record when I first walked in, and then they were pretty much like, yeah, put that down. But what happened was I noticed that all of the Hurt Syndicate were wearing sunglasses, and I had mine on my shirt. And so I just made a last second decision that I was going to try to get some sort of a funny interaction with MJF without doing too much. And we'll just see what happens. And it worked. When it was our turn, I walked straight up to MJF. I looked him in the eye. I kept a straight face. I put my sunglasses on and I turned around to face the camera, completely blocking him from view. His immediate response was to grab my Tony Storm hat, and I don't mean throw. I don't mean toss. I mean whip this hat across the room to the point where it hit like the wall in the corner on the other side of it. Just chucked this hat across the room. And then I saw a little bit of like his hand next to my head, and I thought maybe he was just making a fist. He was not making a fist, as the evidence will show. I have to admit, that's about as memorable of an experience as I think I could have gotten from that photo op. And that's great because I'm a pretty big MJF fan. He's one of my favorites in AEW. I think he is hilarious. I love his character. I love that he's always in character. And so is Tony. So I wonder if that's just a thing I like. After that, we really just kind of hung out. I was exhausted at this point. Tally was too, but I was being a big baby about it. I was so damn sleepy. So we kind of found some shade outside. I didn't really want to sit in the hotel as much, but we sat outside, found some shade, just kind of hung out and just enjoyed being there while we were waiting for our next photo op. The next one was one we were really excited about, especially Tally. It's one of her favorites, Hangman Adam Page. Nothing too crazy or anything with this one in particular. I will say that Tally is now 2 for 2 on going to photo ops, telling the person to go and win something, and then they went and did it. She did it with Jey Uso at the Royal Rumble, went on to win the Rumble, and now she did it with Hangman Adam Page. She got a hug, by the way, told him to go win it, and that's exactly what he did. So if anybody has any requests for Tally next time she goes to a photo op or anything like that, comment down below. Actually, a couple of you pointed out that everybody that we actually met at these photo ops won their matches, or anybody that we saw won or was successful in whatever their matches were the next day. So really, it's Kenny's fault. He lost to Okada because I said hi to Okada because he was at the hotel, and had Kenny had a photo op, we would have met him and would have had a better chance. So Kenny's fault all around. Unfortunately, this is where the last bit of negative comes in about Starcast and the way that it was going. Now, I'll be clear, the majority of this was pretty solid. Like it seems like they had a good idea on paper. The execution was just kind of rough when handling this many people in such a condensed amount of time. I don't know if maybe they just didn't have enough space to work with or what, but this one was a little bit different. Remember earlier I told you that the default for getting a photo op was to get the printed version handed to you, right? Okay, that might seem cool or maybe not, but either way, it created an issue the longer the photo ops went on. You see, eventually the pictures were getting taken faster than they could print them out, which turned into this weird auction style. Hey, is there anybody in a blue t-shirt that's in this photo? A bunch of us are standing in a crowd, just kind of next to this photo hut. And the lady, bless her heart, not her fault. She's doing the best she can. She did everything she could in that situation. But she had to just come out there with stacks at a time and just be like, okay, who had this shirt? Who had a hat on? Trying to find the people who took these photos, which did not go very quickly at all. But eventually we got it. It was fine. Again, not her fault whatsoever, but there was definitely a misunderstanding of maybe how many people were going to be at this event or how many people were going to be doing these photo ops. I'm not sure. After that, we didn't have too much left to do at that hotel. There was still some stores or some shops upstairs that we didn't fully get to check out. But I was just honestly way too exhausted by the end of this day. I needed to just go back and sleep. So we went back to our hotel and just tried to get some rest because we knew All In, we would have stayed longer, by the way, at this hotel with Starcast. But with All In starting earlier in the day the next day, I really wanted to make sure I got my sleep. I didn't want to feel like this at the show. So we went back and we immediately passed out. I don't know if you are someone who believes in the whole vivid dreams are ones that come true. I don't know. All I'm saying is that when I went to sleep at the hotel, I had a dream that you checked out the Patreon, especially the free version where you can just check out what the Patreon is like, because every single post on that Patreon is me and my fiance Tally, who is also a massive AEW fan, watching wrestling matches that you guys submit for the first time. So on there, available for totally free right now, is the entire Kenny Omega versus Okada series leading up to All In. So that was really cool that we got to fully catch up on all the history thanks to you guys and along with you guys. So check it out. Patreon link is down below. I'm sorry I tricked you into that first part of this. Back to the video. After a beautiful roughly 12 hours of sleep, which felt good and was very needed, I started my day with a Texas shaped waffle, which I felt like was a perfect way to set the mood for the day to come. We didn't really waste any time. We just headed over to the arena and to figure out the parking situation. So we sat in the car right before the show. Before we headed in, we made sure to kind of do what we do, and we hyped ourselves up a little bit with some entrance music, of course. Now, I don't know if it's because we got there early enough for all the 0 hour stuff, but it was not a bad wait in the line at all. We've gotten over time, we've learned to not get there for our own personal preference. We don't get there before the doors are scheduled to open. We try to set it so we're walking up from our car at the moment the doors are scheduled to open, so that the line has already started moving by the time we get up there. We've noticed there's not really a huge advantage to waiting in that line or getting there earlier unless you really want to hit up the merch table. Dude, there's something about big shows when you walk into the arena, you just get hit with this wave of just atmosphere, just this buzz in the arena. I talk about this at all the major events we've gone to. I feel like I mentioned in every vlog. Man, I'm telling you, there is this buzz in the arena. You can feel it humming, and you walk in, getting to see the whole setup. It's almost like it's kind of really nice getting there early enough to see all the empty seats and to see like just the pure skeleton of the event. We saw that there was a line to get your photo taken for a custom card, like a custom trading card, which is really cool. And it was free to do. So we decided to hop in that line. This is where I want to take the opportunity to say, holy crap, I met so many of you this weekend. I am not kidding when I say I did not see this coming at all. I've been to a lot of WWE shows since making this channel, since getting these videos out there. I've only been to 1 or 2 actually AEW shows in that time. So I didn't really have a frame of reference, but at WWE shows, I got to admit, I don't really get like recognized that much. It's pretty rare. It's like maybe 1 or 2 times at the event at the most. When we did like the WrestleCon stuff, I think it happened 1 or 2 times at that event. Fellas, I did not know how many of you watching this right now were AEW fans, because holy crap, you guys 10x, 20x, 25x the amount of times somebody walked up, recognized, asked for a photo. It was insane, both at All In and at the Starcast event the night before or the day before. It was actually insane how many of you kept coming up, asking for a photo, saying you love the channel, that you vibe with the community. There was a woman that walked by, and if you're watching this, hello to you. Thank you so much for that. You walked by and you just said, "Hey, thanks for checking out AEW," and just kept going. Like there was just little stuff like that. I was shocked. We've never experienced that before. I wanted to take this moment and give you guys a whole small section of this video. I put a bunch of you up on the screen. I don't know if it's been up the whole time, but yeah, it was so cool meeting you guys. You guys were all so nice. It's made my year so far. That brought me so much joy. Extra special shout out to the 2 of you that came running in the rain, yelling "Deporticus" down the sidewalk. It was both startling and amusing, and it warmed my heart. You guys made us feel like rock stars, like we were leaving the event and you guys are just yelling our name down. It was hilarious. And extra shout out for all of you that recognized Tally. That's how I know you're either in the streams, you watch all the videos, or you catch the Patreon. But anyway, we're waiting in this line and we get our photo taken for a trading card, which was pretty cool. I'll put that up so you guys can see it. Again, it was totally free. That was a cool extra thing that I think it was Tops or Upper Deck. I don't remember. I'm sure it'll say on the card. But the company just did it for free, and that's why there was a long line for it for most of the night. So that's a cool collectible thing. So if you go to an AEW like pay-per-view in the future, keep an eye out for that. They might do it again. Walked around for a little bit, found the merch table, by the way. You might be able to see in the video what kind of things they had. We didn't end up waiting in this line. This line was huge. I don't think they had more than 1 or 2 merch tables at this event, which seemed like an issue. There might have been more, but when we did our 1 lap around, I think we only saw 2 merch tables. So the lines for these were crazy long. We didn't end up waiting for anything there because the only thing I saw that was different was like we were there or we were at All In kind of shirts. Everything else seemed like stuff you could get online or at the Sheraton Hotel. So, but yeah, they had some stuff. While we were waiting for the show, it was cool just getting different angles of the actual setup and just hearing the buzz of the crowd. Everybody was so excited. Now, full disclosure, we missed one match. I want to be upfront and honest about this because they're going to be mad because I met them, but we had to at some point. We did miss an entire match, and it was the Hurt Syndicate, like the tag match. We had to hear it, but this show went on for so long. We needed lunch/dinner. Like all we had eaten was the small breakfast at the hotel. We were doing everything by like 11 a.m. or 12 at the arena, and everything went until like 8 p.m. that night. And this is like Central Time. So we were going to be stuck there all day. And at one point we'd gone so long. We're like, we got to go grab food. So we're only human. I don't know what to tell you. We were going to miss something. So we wanted to do it before the main like 3 matches to end the show were going to start, which by the way, they have these like bacon wrapped hot dogs, which Tally had one of those. It looked really damn good. I kind of wish I had done it. Tally's looked fantastic. She said it was good. And when I tried to order it later, they were sold out. So I was kind of bummed about that. That's my fault. But I did eat some popcorn out of a cowboy boot. So I'm a Texan now. Now, this isn't a review of like the matches or anything, so I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on those individually, but there were just a few cool moments that I managed to. I didn't do a ton of recording, by the way, during the show. I was pretty locked in on it, and I didn't want to be holding my phone out the entire time, but I did want to capture a few memorable parts. I was so excited that Tally was going to get a full match and Ospreay entrance, which thankfully he won. That was an awesome experience. I'll let you know right now, it is like a thing that you need to experience as a wrestling fan. The unexpected Edge/Cope theme hitting the "you think you know me," dude. That just by default, when it's by surprise, it creates this pop that you just can't truly explain. Like it sounds great on TV, but being there, you just naturally you scream. It's awesome. I was thrilled to get a Toni Storm match. I was thrilled to get a cool entrance for it, and I was even more thrilled that she got to defend her title. That was so sick to see in person. I was super excited, and Tally was going nuts for this one. Seeing Kenny Omega versus Okada, that was something, like I said, that we had built up on the Patreon to fully appreciate leading up to All In. And man, there was just, I've seen it in some of the matches you guys have shown us on the Patreon, where sometimes there's like this dream match scenario that kind of feels like where you're feeling like you're about to watch this epic battle. And so when the bell rings, they just kind of stand there and the crowd starts doing a standing ovation. We're doing "This is awesome." We're doing the holy chant. We're doing like AEW chant, all before they ever actually started fighting. So getting to be there in person for something like that was extremely memorable. All of that leading to one of the greatest main events I have probably, off the top of my head, might be the greatest main event that I have gotten to witness in person. The Hangman versus Jon Moxley match was just, it was so cool. It was so, seeing something that violent and something that extreme in person, there's nothing like it. There's nothing, especially when you have this investment that has been building up for months and months. And I've made it very known on our live streams that I have not been a huge fan of the Death Riders. I have hated that briefcase has been holding this so beautiful title. It's been just keeping it hidden for months and months. And so to be there to witness the main character, the protagonist, I'm in on it, by the way. I'm in on Hangman. To see him be the one to take him down and to hold that above his head, it was so emotional. It was exhilarating. I'll show you the clip. Here's the final moments when he actually won. are the moments. Those are the ones that when you go to shows, those are the ones that's the moment you really root for to get to experience yourself. That is the moment where all the frustration, all the hype, all the following all of the storylines, never missing a show, getting that sort of a hype built for that moment, that's what you hope for. You hope to feel what I felt in that moment, this satisfaction, this release, this euphoric moment of just finally, like, he did it, and just couldn't help but be just so happy for the guy. It just felt so deserved after everything that we've gotten to learn about him and his story leading up to this. Also, shout out to the Patreon. We've watched the videos building up like how he got to this point in AEW. Not to mention we got to see Bryan Danielson return and Darby Allin. So you couldn't ask for anything cooler. It was like this is exactly what I said I wanted in my last video. This is what I said I wanted for this. I wanted this to be the WrestleMania 40 like Avengers Endgame situation where people are running out and doing that was perfect. It was amazing. Unfortunately, even after 8 hours, we still didn't want this whole thing to end, but it did. And so, but it didn't have to fully end because we had already purchased our tickets for the Starcast AEW All-In After Party. I'm not going to sit here and say that the After Party wasn't good. I think it just wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't for me. Was not the vibe that I was looking for after the show that we had just seen. I'll explain. So we walk back into the same hotel that we had gone to for the rest of Starcast. And first of all, no signage, no clarification online, no explanation. This is kind of seems like an issue they seem to have. There's nothing that tells you when you walk in the building where you're supposed to go. You walk in, there's just a ton of people sitting in the lobby, and everyone just seems kind of confused. Like there's no sign that says, hey, after party this way. There's no employee for Starcast, which they had plenty of them walking around. Nobody's standing at the front saying, here for the after party, right this way. Just a room. And eventually we just say screw it and wander upstairs because that's where the rest of Starcast was earlier. So maybe it's just not in the downstairs portion. We did manage to find a line of people that had started for people who did find this, and it was for the after party. And sure, whatever, we found it, but just put up a sign. Please put up signs. It started roughly a half hour after it was supposed to. So we were standing waiting in line for quite some time. But before they let us in, they said, if you are a VIP, if you have a VIP level bracelet or higher, hold still. We're going to come through and give you this orange ticket. And if you were general admission, you didn't get this ticket, which is strange because when you buy these online, there is no mention that some sort of magical orange ticket is for only people who bought the VIP version of it. They have full explanation of VIP versus general admission bracelet. None of it mentions this ticket, which you think, okay, not that huge of a deal. Well, it's kind of a bit of a deal because that ticket was the only real thing that gave you a chance to do anything significant in this after party. When you walk into this after party, it is just a large room, a large empty room with a few like bar-ish tables on the side that you can stand next to. And they have alcohol that you can buy for a certain price. And we stood in there for quite a while where there was music playing by their DJ, and there's just standing around talking to just other people that you were already standing around talking to, waiting in line to go into this room to stand around and talk to each other. But now you can buy alcohol while you do it. But there was also already a bar open downstairs where we were already hanging out and talking. So far, we've paid for a ticket to go into another room to buy different alcohol from a different bartender and talk to the same people. All right, I don't know if this is going to be usable because I'm right next to the music, but this is the after party, if you want to call it that. Are we partying?
Are we partying all night, baby? Or until midnight, like I said on the
Yeah, it's got an end time, so not all night. Now, thankfully, this was the vibe for some people, which I'm happy for. I wasn't getting a ton out of this experience personally, but there were definitely some people that seemed like they're having fun. A few people were dancing here and there. It did seem like just a large waiting room. And what we were waiting for, apparently, was this game show that was going to be hosted. And the game show was going to be played between 5 random fans who got those orange tickets. They were going to pull them like a raffle, and 5 AEW superstars. Their wording, not mine. I know some of you don't like the term superstars when talking about AEW, but that's how they worded it, not me. I kid you not. They were pulling the raffles to bring up random AEW fans that had these, which, by the way, we didn't get one because we didn't pay for VIP, even though there was no mention that we were going to be left. There were other things mentioned regarding these VIP things, but nothing about not being able to participate in the after party thing, which we paid for a ticket for. They were pulling a ticket, they read the number, and nobody would claim it. And this happened at least 6 times. Six times. They pulled the ticket, they read the number, and that person either didn't answer or already left, because it had been at that point 30 to 40 minutes of just standing, ordering drinks or not. If you didn't drink, there wasn't any food or anything, so it was just, there was nothing to do but stand. So many people had either just ignored the call, which they definitely heard it. This room was not that big. If you were in that room when you had that ticket, you heard it. So they apparently just left. Like, these people they didn't claim it. So they kept pulling tickets until they finally get 5 people to play this game. In walks in 5 AEW superstars. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was a little bit tired at this point. It's been a long day. You guys can tell me in the comments who is in this clip. It's the people standing in the front, like kind of like our backs to us. You'll probably recognize them better than I will. I did not know any of these AEW wrestlers by name, so you guys can tell me who they were if you recognize them from behind. Also, while we were waiting to have this game get played, the DJ was playing themes, and he played CM Punk's theme song, which got a very strong reaction from the crowd, and not a positive one. That was funny, but we go and we're about to watch them play this game, 5v5, and it is a Family Feud style quiz game. And the host said they surveyed 100 wrestling fans, and here, which is kind of a cool idea. And I got to admit, there was some humor behind it. I saw the first round, and and they basically said they wanted to ask questions that would be difficult for wrestling fans.
Name a famous brand of deodorant. Miss? Tom. Show me Tom. No. Old Spice. Let's see. What's up?
Kind of low-hanging fruit, but I can respect the humor. It kind of set the tone for this. And then there was one guy that was the AEW superstar one. It's the one with the glasses in the clip that I showed. He kind of took the low-hanging fruit, like,
This is a trick question. Wrestling fans don't wear deodorant.
like the joke had already been made by the question existing. He kind of just, that fruit was hanging real low, and he didn't care. He just grabbed that thing. But they played this Family Feud style of this, and apparently if the fans won, those 5 fans were going to get ringside seats to All Out, which, very cool. I want to be critical of this, but I also want to be very fair. I'll start by saying I did not stay for the entire duration of the after party. We ended up leaving. We wanted to actually have dinner. It was getting really late, and we had a flight the next day we had to leave again for at 3 a.m. So I couldn't really justify, based on what we had seen so far at this after party, it was really tough to justify spending more time there. But from what we did see, the entire after party was what I described: standing around, buying more alcohol, talking to people, all things that we were able to do without an extra charge downstairs. And 5 people got to play a game and potentially win something, and everybody else got to watch. We got to the hotel. We didn't really have much time to do anything but pack. I think we took like an hour nap, and then we had to head to the airport. I got to be honest, there was something about walking through the airport the opposite direction of where we walked in just 2 days earlier, a day and a half earlier, that made me really sad. Like, I was already really bummed that this weekend had to be over. We were having such a good time. It felt like that, even though it was a short time, it just felt like it flew by. And it was some of the most fun I have had at any sort of wrestling event ever. We had such an incredible time. And this was a memory that I will have for the rest of my life. And I saved this part for the end of the video because I know this is going to be a long video, and the people who hate watch, they won't make it this far. And I really just want to mention that, like, this, not even just All In specifically, but going to these wrestling shows and now meeting you guys and just the amount of joy that this brings me specifically. And I am no fool. I know that is because of you that is watching this right now. I'm so grateful to have met so many of you this weekend, and I can't wait to meet more of you at more shows. We've already got multiple shows on the docket that we are going to in the coming months. I'm so happy that we have begun to fall in love with this product. And it's not just, before we were just catching the pay-per-views and it was just to see a little bit of action here and there. And now I feel so invested in watching AEW and so invested in these characters. And I don't even understand how we got to this point this quick, but I love this. I love this show. I love these events. I cannot wait to go to more. I can't wait to see you there. If you enjoyed this, especially if you made it this far, drop a random comment down below, hit the like button, let the YouTube algorithm know that this might be a video worth checking out to other AEW fans. So thank you so much. I love you all, especially you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
We got Adam, came all the way over here from England. Tell him to subscribe to Deporticus.
Heard, man. Subscribe to Deporticus.
He said it now.